the rest of it, the rest of it turned out pretty nice.
Well, thanks.
So that's a big improvement from what we did in class last week, which, even when I do a workshop, I do dry runs of every painting I'm going to do at a workshop. They're half size, and I want to
Uh-huh.
figure out, do I have the right color combination? Is this the way I
Ah,
handle it? This sort of thing. And if it works out,
mhm.
fine. If it doesn't, I do another one, because I don't want the students to look at what I'm doing, but how I'm doing it, basically.
Yes,
And
yes.
they like to see a kind of a preview and then see what the final one looks like that I've demonstrated to them. And then what I worked on by myself with half size, they'll say, "Well, that's quite a change." And I says, "Well, that was an idea, and
Oh,
I'm going off of that." So you took it much further than what you did in class, which is nice.
yeah. Well, I think it was very helpful to go through it again, and then, I could pause the recording.
Yeah, and that does help.
Yep.
That helps a lot. That's one reason why we have the recording, is it gives you that opportunity to pause it, stop, look at it, whatever the case may be, and continue on at your own pace. Um,
Right.
but it's nice to be able to have that, and I don't know if any other
Oh,
classes do that.
huh.
Hi, Diana.
Well, it's certainly. Hi.
Some people actually go back a year later and do the
Oh
same
my God.
and look at their growth.
Oh, that's a great idea.
You've got the video.
Yeah.
Go mark your calendar.
Yeah.
November.
Okay.
Today is the 6th, I think. Go
Yep.
6, 2026 and try it again.
20. Oh yeah,
Huh. Yeah.
I thought you said this year was 20.
Hi.
Dale, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Have you ever painted watercolor on rice paper?
No, I've watched somebody paint it on rice paper, and as soon as you put the brush down, it just goes. It's quite difficult to paint on. I'm doing a 2-day workshop up here using cold or hot press paper and incision paper on winter scenes, so that they can see what the difference is between a textured paper and a very smooth hard or hot press paper. So it gives a different effect.
Yeah.
Every paper you work on gives something a little bit different.
Sure.
But I've never worked on rice paper. I know people who have, and I've seen them work on there, and it's always a dilemma when you work on something new. But I have not worked on rice paper before. No.
Yeah. Okay.
I haven't even been tempted to work on rice paper after seeing so much for them. Morning, Judy.
Good morning.
Morning, Janet.
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can see you now.
Okay.
You're there.
I'm here. Sorry about that.
So we're waiting for Charlie. He didn't open up the packet. I had to resend it last night to see if he got it. So I don't know what's going on. We'll wait a few minutes to see what is coming up with him. We're working with 3 colors today, which is the ultramarine blue, the burnt sienna, and the sap green. And I've done workshops with those color combinations, or working with 3 colors. It's interesting on how you can manipulate the color combinations. So it should be a little bit interesting today to take away most other colors that we use and just use 3. So it's limiting you, but it'll also expand your knowledge of how to cross mix colors much more than what you were before. Who brought the donuts? Oh, Janet was. Shows up.
Hey, I don't eat donuts. I don't like donuts.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you can't bring the donuts.
That doesn't mean everybody.
It goes against my principles.
Well, there are vegan donuts out there.
Dale, did
No,
you
it has nothing to do with that. It's that they're full of sugar and there's really no nutritional value
All
in
that
them.
good stuff.
good. Now you had the harbor scene up there a minute ago. Would you
Yeah.
put it up again? It looks to me like you finished it down a little bit, and I want to take a picture of how it ended up. Yes,
I didn't touch it after class.
Oh, you didn't?
What's it?
Okay. Well, you have a lot more development in the area of the rock than I did.
No,
And I like yours a lot better than
I
mine.
didn't touch
So,
it, honest to God.
yeah, okay. Very good. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm with you, Judy. I thought he worked on it some more too, but then I looked and I noticed it. There wasn't the after class. It didn't say after class or whatever. You know how he indicates
Yeah.
that, and I'm like, no,
Yeah,
apparently
yeah.
that is how he left it. And I even popped back in last week to take a picture because I forgot, and
Ah.
I was like, yeah, it did look different to me, but he swears that's
Yeah.
where it landed.
Well,
So my husband complained about the rock. He said it didn't look like a rock. And so to please him,
Where's the rock? That's
I
a
know,
rock.
I know. I filled it in and it unbalanced the whole thing.
that's
And
why
so
Well, yours looks like a rock, Judy. His
Yeah,
doesn't.
and
I thought his was water.
it was a very large area here that
Uh-huh.
would fight with this, so I simplified it.
Yes.
And I did-
Oh my God, I thought it was water and that it was like splashing and
Well, I love your imagination.
it's a rock.
It was a rock
Yeah.
in the photograph. I did not paint the rock. I just simulated something there with value, and that was it.
Right.
Otherwise, it
So-
would take over.
You see how heavy this is? I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to go back and try to lift it and put more interesting development in there, like you have. Yeah, exactly.
Well, you made a rock, Judy. Don't
Oh
make
yeah, that
rock
is that.
you values.
That is rock. Unfortunately, I do whatever my husband asks me to do to a painting when I'm done with it. He says, "Oh, this, that." So okay,
That's not the wife's job. He's supposed to do what you tell him to do.
Well, he is because she told him, "Look at my painting and tell me what you think."
good to know, Dale, because I missed that lesson. So,
Oh, well, I thought that was in the marriage guide. Yeah, my wife skipped over the obey and whatever the husband.
well, yay, merrily. That's all I can say.
Couldn't get that
Oh,
out.
I can't picture this.
Couldn't get that out. And the minister says, "Well, let's just move on."
Could not remember that part of the vows.
Yeah. Uh-huh. So, and then this is a 3-color demo. See if I get the lights off of it here. That's done with the same 3 colors that we're using today.
Nice.
And then I did one with mostly burnt sienna, another one that was kind of balanced. So it has an opportunity to cross mix a lot of colors in here, just from those 3 colors. And that's the shores of Lake Superior. So, all right, we're going to get started then. All right, let's bring the lights in and get the photograph. Now, as I do with many of the woodland scenes, I always start off very abstract in the wash there. So I'm not going to wet the paper, but I am going to paint fairly quickly. Well, I might spritz the paper a little bit. That's about it. I'm going to use my 3/4 inch cat tongue from Rosemary. And I will spritz the paper a little bit so that I don't have too much control on the top, but I want control on the bottom with the shadows of the snow. So I'm going to start off by taking the burnt sienna with a lot of water and a little bit of the sap green, which I'll get kind of a yellow color actually, because there's a lot of yellow in the burnt sienna. And I'm going to leave white of the paper here and there. And I'm just kind of doing this in the background, back and forth, to get the feeling of some of the pines and so forth that are in there. Nothing more than that. So I take a little bit more sap green, a little bit more. I'm going to take some ultramarine blue as I move across the paper here. Take a little bit of burnt sienna here. So I want to show some of the white of the paper. So don't be afraid that the white of the paper is going to be doing anything at this point. I'm going to use a little bit of ultramarine blue, and I'm making it a little bit darker as I go across over here. And I'm just swiping the paper back and forth, nothing more than that. You can see just back and forth. But leave some of that white of the paper so that will show through. Now I'm going to go to the ultramarine blue, and I'm going to take a little bit of sap green here. And the snow shadows will be grayed down to a certain extent. I'm going to bring some of that other color in from up on top here. And I want it to kind of fuse with the rest of the paint up in here. And I'm kind of following the shadow patterns, but not to true to fact as one might think. But there's always a little bit, sometimes when you're in a pine forest, there's always a little bit of that green in the cast shadow area. And I have put white on the palette to go back and add a little bit of color here and there. And I'm going to take kind of a damp brush and soften this up in here. And I'm going to bring along the cast shadow that kind of runs through here. And then we have a little bit of light in here. And the rest of it is kind of just grayed down. While this is kind of drying, I'm taking a toothbrush and I'm going to add just water to start with up in here, all over the painting. And I've left a little bit of light here and there. I'm also going to take the ultramarine blue a little bit with a lot of water. And I'm going to spritz that up into here too, so that the color moves up a little bit. And I'm going to do the same thing with the burnt sienna mixed with the ultramarine blue. And I'm going to spritz this into the snow down here. And a little bit of the green, so that it has a little bit of unity happening with this. And the snow is kind of speckled anyways with the pine needles falling. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take these cotton things I have here, or you can use a paper towel, doesn't matter. and I'm going to wet them, and I'm going to manipulate some of the value. So I squeezed out all the water, and I want to have a little bit of softness up in here. And back in here, I'm going to pull out a little bit of light. So I'm trying to emulate some of the light spots that are within the snow scene and try to maintain those to a certain degree. This is a little bit lighter here. Soften this up a little bit. And we have a little bit of light right through here. But I'm trying to keep my edges all soft. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the squirt gun here, and I'm going to spritz a little bit of water up in here, which will give me a texture. It will appear as it dries more. Okay, so I started up here with the burnt sienna and the sap green, more burnt sienna over here, and I started adding the sap green over here so that the background becomes a little bit darker over here. Then I entered with the ultramarine blue and the sap green down in here so that these colors were transferred down here, and then I spritzed a little bit of blue up in there. In fact, I think I have to do a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is take the toothbrush, and I'm going to add, be a little bit on the bold side. I'm going to add some of that color up in there. And I think I'll take this one spot and soften it a little bit so that you can see on how these colors are moving around. And it's just 3 colors. And wipe up this here. And then I came down to the foreground and I painted the foreground mostly blue with a little bit of green in it. But make sure you leave some of these light spots up in there. They're going to be helpful later on. They're going to be tinted down, but they will be helpful.
Where did you soften the edges? By the path? Is that where it was?
Yeah, by the path and a little bit up in here.
Okay.
I dragged it down here a little bit and a little bit right in here.
Okay. Thanks.
Yep. Oh, I'm going to soften one more place. Right up in here. If I can. I want a little bit of that light that seeps through. And a little bit over here. And just kind of brush it away a little bit. There, that should do it. But it's just the basic pattern that I tried to get down very quickly. Most of it is following it, but not maybe not all of it, but that's okay. What I have to watch out is for this division of these colors up here and these colors down here. I've got to make sure those colors are moved around a little bit. But treat it as an abstract of light, dark, and color. Nothing more than that. If you're off on the color, that's fine. Good.
Okay, here's what I have so far. Let's see if we can make it visible.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's except you want to bring this color across the path down here. I don't see.
Okay, it's actually there.
Put a little bit, put a little bit more in.
Put more. Okay.
Light.
Yes, I see.
This is what I have.
Okay, you want to bring down, look at the way the path comes down. There's just
Okay.
this little area right in here that kind of curves around. Which
Okay.
is kind of important. You want to lift up some of this color. It's kind of dark in here.
Okay.
And Janet, I know you're dying to show me what you got. I'm going to dry this real quick. But everything is very light and very airy. You don't want to be too dark with this, especially at the beginning. But all that light kind of falls in the valley right here. There's a little bit out in there, a little bit out in here, but most of it is right through here. And we will be painting clouds in this next 5 weeks.
We will or will not?
We will be.
Oh, good.
I have had in my storage area of my iPad a series of dramatic clouds
Good. Good.
and softer ones, but mostly dramatic.
I have some dramatic ones. I should send them to you.
We'll send them, see what we got.
Not to be competitive or anything, but I've got some really cool photos with killer clouds.
Send the killer clouds here.
Yeah.
The ones that you sent, Judy, were kind of run of the mill, and
Oh, yeah.
there wasn't enough landscape there.
I know. So it's like it's something to use in another context or something. You know, just yeah.
Combine them with another photo.
So I have a whole folder of clouds, and then I have another folder of trees, and it turned I had like 70 photos of clouds when I, decided to pull them together. I thought, wow, that's a lot. But then did the trees, I had 155 trees.
Oh, that's easy to do.
So apparently I just go around taking pictures of clouds
Yeah.
and trees,
Well, I take pictures of a lot of things in the woods and specific trees that are much different than it was when we were living in Indiana, of course. These trees have a lot of character to them, especially the old white pines that have been up for over 100 years. They have that battered look that is really kind of neat.
Yeah.
No, something else will go there. He's gonna get. You can have them.
Okay, I just haven't softened with I went and got I do have some of those makeup rounds, but there's where I'm at before pulling anything out.
Okay, start pulling some out. I'll wait. Yeah, those cotton rounds are actually kind of nice. They're, I think, $1.25 at the Dollar Tree in town. And I thought, well, I'll buy some of those instead of using paper towels, and you only need a little bit of it. Plus, they're really soft, which is nice. It doesn't do anything to the paper. Where the paper towels won't do anything to the paper, but sometimes it leaves residue on there where this does not. And that was Marilee's idea, not mine.
Go Marilee. I don't know that really
You can
got me far.
you can use cotton balls too sometimes. That works.
Let's see.
I've used Q-tips before for small areas.
Okay.
I can't believe this is the 5th week already.
I know.
Ooh. And then it's yeah, almost the year's over. Oh my God.
Oh,
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah, well, the next 5 weeks is we're off for Thanksgiving Day, of course.
No.
And then it ends just before Christmas, and we're off 2 weeks at Christmas.
All right, there we go. I don't know that you can see anything,
Yeah,
but
that's better. Okay, good.
you're just gonna say that.
Well, it's a lot nicer. It's softer.
Okay. I'm like, how do you even see that?
I can see it.
Okay. I believe you. Only because sometimes you give me tips and then I'm like, how did he see that?
Well, what can I tell you?
I don't know. So then I know, he really does see it.
I am watching.
I know.
Okay, we're going to take my calligraphy brush this time, and we're going to emulate the trees in the background to not to the degree that is in the photograph, but I don't know, fairly close, I guess. So I'm going to start off with the sap green here and the burnt sienna. A little bit more burnt sienna for a little bit more green. Okay, now I'm going to take that green and I'm going to move it over and add just a little bit of blue. And I'm going to tap the brush off like so. And I'm going to lay the brush on its side. And I'm going to emulate some of the trees that we're seeing up here. I'm ignoring the trunks of the trees. Going to add a little bit more green to this. And I've moved some of the masses a little bit also. So some of these trees come out a little bit more than what is in the photograph. I'm going to take the toothbrush and I'm going to add a little bit of blue to it and a little bit of the green that I had already. I'm going to keep that in hand because I'm going to use it again. I'm going to use a little bit more of the burnt sienna with a lot of water in it. So we'll have the illusion of being a little bit more on the yellow side because it is a red-orange grade down. A little bit darker down here at the bottom. And I'm going to take a little bit more blue mixed in with this up here. I'm going to add that in again off to the side and a little bit in the middle. And I'm going to take my smaller brush at this time because we're only working in the upper half this time around. And I'm going to kind of add a little bit of busyness up in here. Branches, whatever the case may be. I'll probably cover up some of them with the trees, but that's fine. Add a little bit more blue to it. I can always lift out if I need to. Then I'm going to go back to the calligraphy brush. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put some trees out in here or branches. Then I'm going to take a little bit more green, put it in there. And I'm dragging it down to the snow line here to allow that to overlap. And I'm going to darken this up as it goes back. And again, overlapping that snow line, I'm getting rid of some of the light or white of the paper over here because it's on the edge. I don't want that attracting the eye. Now I'm going to take a little bit of blue with the toothbrush, just straight blue. And I'm going to spritz it into here just to bring some of that blue color up. I'm going to take my small 6 round and I'm going to kind of manipulate it in there a little bit. So when you put it in with the toothbrush, it becomes quite a bit more random than if you tried to paint it in. Now, I'm going to deal with a dark spot that's right up in here. So I'm going to take the ultramarine blue and the sap green and a little bit of the burnt sienna to gray it. I'm going to lighten it up as I go up. Not worried about the small branches that cross through it because I can lift that out. But I do want these darks that are in towards the bottom to be signified. And I'm just bringing it across because there's a big tree right here that I want noted. And what I'll do is I'll take a little bit of this burnt sienna and green mixture, and I'm going to put it towards the top of this so that the end doesn't become abrupt as it goes up. A little bit more of the darker value color. And this will start to signify where this line ends a little bit more, but it's not a constant dark. It's going to jump around quite a bit. We have a little bit more of a dark back in here. And I'm dry brushing all this in different directions. Not in the same direction, but trying to make it a little bit more interesting to the eye. And I think I'm going to take the toothbrush with a little bit of burnt sienna, watered down, and I'm going to spritz it in here to warm this up just a slight bit. A little bit in here. And I think that's about where I'm going to leave it. So a lot of dry brushing in kind of a swooping thing like this with the brush. Don't over brush it. Put it down, leave it, don't play with it. Although I do want to manipulate this one blob here a little bit more. So you see the background is fairly colorful with three colors. So you're working with two cools and one warm. And the burnt sienna helps balance that off and also grays the colors down. And I am going to take a cotton swab here. And I'm going to pull up just a little bit in certain areas just to kind of soften it a little bit.
This is what I have so far.
Okay, it can be filled in a little bit more right in here next to this space right here.
Okay,
Filled in a little bit more.
okay. To the right of that space.
Yes, to the right.
Okay, got it.
Correct. I'm gonna go rinse my sponges out. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. And to give this a little bit of hair drying here. But try to get your layering overlapping on the snow here, that there's a variety of movement through here, that it's not an even straight line. You want this to kind of scroll over into the snow a little bit more.
Right. So I can see I need to do that. But here's where I am so far.
Good. See if you can get rid of this line up through here.
Yeah, my tree trunk.
A little bit too straight. Overlap it just a little bit more, not much.
Okay, got it.
Remember variety.
Yes.
I need to take a picture of this. Otherwise, I'm in trouble.
Yep.
And if you look close on this, you can see that there's a lot of different color in on the snow at this point. It's just not blue shadows. It has the background color falling into there just ever so slightly. So don't make it too blue, don't make it too dark. Because there's a lot of light refracting around in there. We did this painting in a vertical position sometime last year. Didn't particularly care the way it came out, so I threw it out. And then I changed the whole color palette. And this, I think, is making it a little bit more interesting. I had too many color choices in it before. Sometimes less is a lot more exciting than using too many colors. We are recording.
Yeah, you're recording.
Okay, just want to make sure.
See, it says recording.
Yeah, I see it now. But with that background, you can see that the appearance is in relationship with the other colors. It almost looks yellow because of the burnt sienna. And if you take note, I have this coming downhill here, and it ends right about in here. And then this one has a little bit of a movement here. And then this one here is down a little bit further. I'm going to probably take it down a little bit further so it looks like you're creeping back into the woods a little bit and you're ending up here. But this needs to be further back right in here. And you still have time to adjust that. How we all doing? You're starting to make individual trees in the background, Janet? You want it more of a mass. Martha Stewart didn't come back there and plant those, did she? Just asking. I saw that. Try to make it more of an abstract. We're not making trees back there just yet, or any individual pine trees. There's not too many individual pine trees showing. It's just a mass. So go in there, cut those down, and replace them. 2 weeks ago, we went to a Christmas tree farm for some friends to scope it out south of us. They had the most perfect looking Christmas trees. They must go out there and shape them.
Oh, Martha Stewart was there.
All right, that's better.
Right.
From little ones that were 4 feet tall to ones that were about 30 feet tall.
Wow.
Acres and acres and acres of these things. So they must ship them out too, because you can go in there and cut your own down also. You're on mute.
Yeah, I'm muted because my husband just came downstairs.
Oh,
But we have a wonderful little blue spruce in the back. It's perfect shape. But
Yeah.
it did it all by itself.
No, it didn't. I did it.
Oh, yeah. I realized that. I must sneak at night with some shears or something.
That's true.
you're supposed to make that remain a secret to Judy.
Yeah, well, he just spilled the beans on that one.
Yeah. Okay, Janet, go ahead again. All right, that's better. Yes, I see it. You've gotten rid of most of the individuals.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. I only see them when I put them in the screen and when I hold it up, and then I see them so clearly when I look at it here.
Yeah, it happens. Or if you stand back and put it in a mirror so you can see it, they'll show up right away.
Yeah, they show up right. That's why I keep showing it to you, because I'm like, so I can see it. Because when I look in the camera, I'm like, oh my God.
Because you don't see really a tree in mine. So Judy, if you see a flashlight out in the yard at night, he's out there trying.
How's it? At least the dogs, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, I could always just wait for it to dry and then lift some stuff out.
Okay, that's good. The thing about yours that I want you to bring this section down a little bit, so it's
Okay.
like right there
Oh, I see.
down
Yeah.
below this.
Oh, yeah.
And then you
Yes.
can also bring this down a little bit more.
Okay.
This is on a kind of a slant.
Yep.
So, Dale, I have some variation in
Okay.
mine.
You can be a little bit darker with the ultramarine blue over here.
Over here.
Yep. You could take
Right.
your toothbrush, spatter it in, and then manipulate it with your number 6 round.
I love it.
Well, on the bright side, my individual trees at least are on a hill.
Yes, they are. They don't look like they've been trimmed by Judy's husband.
Now, it looks like we're gonna go skiing.
There you go.
All right.
We're expecting snow tomorrow up here.
We are gonna be at 60 something here.
Oh,
We'll see if we leave for Florida on Saturday,
I'm
with all
sorry,
the
it's gonna
flight
be that warm.
cancellations.
You're heading to Florida on Saturday?
We'll see, because they're canceling 10% of flights if
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but that means 90% are going.
Yeah, 90% are going. Look at
Right, but United has already said if it's not one of their hubs, those are the ones they're cut. Those are the ones they're targeting. So I have a 1 in 10 chance.
United flies, their hub is out of Chicago.
I know that, but the hub I'm flying to is not. Tampa is
Well,
not a
you could
United hub.
just jump. There you go. They'll give you a parachute. And just take the seat you're sitting on for just in case for a life preserver.
Are you going to start again, or should I wash out my brushes in water?
Go ahead and wash your brushes out.
Okay.
Is that any better?
This part right here, which is about 6 inches, bring that down a ½ inch. This rise is behind this.
Okay. Oh, I see. Okay, got it.
You see that?
Yep, got it.
And I
Thank
might
you.
even bring it down further, just to emphasize that a little bit more.
So I consider I'm done for now.
Yes, I would say you are.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, yeah. So somebody asked me about a week ago, she's looking at one of my paintings. She said, what style of painting is that? I said, well, I don't know. So
It's
do you use it?
It's impressionistic.
Okay, that's what I said. I thought it was, and that's how I think of it too. But
Okay.
you know,
That's better, Diane. I could see.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, we're going to get started here.
Yep.
All right, the first thing I'm going to do is I do want to erase some pencil lines that are in here that I feel are going to show up. So I'm going to take those out with my kneaded eraser so that I don't have to deal with it later. Not a lot, just a little bit here and there. And one thing about the kneaded eraser, you can even lighten up if you wanted to. Certain passages, like right up in here, I want to see a little bit of light. So I'm actually taking up some of the watercolor just a little bit. And I'm going to take up a little bit back here. Not much. All right. I'm going to go in and I'm going to start painting in some of the tree trunks. And I did re-pencil because I did lose some of them. They may not be in the same place as the drawing, but they'll be close enough. So I'm going to take the burnt sienna. I'm going to start way back here with a little bit of the green and a touch of the blue to gray it. A little bit more burnt sienna. And I'm using a lot of water. And there's overlapping parts in here from what I painted previously. And I'm kind of painting around some of those so that the tree is not a solid tree going all the way up, for the fact that I like the broken look of the tree a little bit better. And I'm going to add a little bit more burnt sienna to it as I get down towards the bottom, adding enough water. And I'm going to take a little bit of the green here. And then I'm going to add a little bit of blue down towards the bottom for the fact that it's going to pick up some of that blue. And I'm going to take my paper towel and lighten it so there's no abrupt landing on the snow. Now I'm going to go to this tree here, which is quite a bit darker. And that's going to bring it forward. And I'm going to dry brush this a little bit. I'm going to add an accent of pure burnt sienna to it. And then some ultramarine blue straight down at the bottom, and it'll mix in with that, just so it's not the same all the way down. A little bit more burnt sienna at the bottom. Then I'll take the cotton swab and I'm going to lighten it up a little bit because I don't want to push forward too far on this and commit myself to something that is too dark. But I am going to go back in and I'm going to add a few spots of ultramarine blue. And then take just a damp brush and kind of pull up a little bit of it here and there. And then an accent of the burnt sienna. And I'm making the trees very, very loose. I don't want to go too far with it. Now I'm going to take and I'm going to go to the next tree right here. And that is ultramarine blue and just burnt sienna. And lighten it up a little bit. Dry the brush off just to allow it to kind of have those branches overlap on it. Bring it down into the snow. Take my cotton thing and kind of soften it here and there. And I'm going to take my number 6 with burnt sienna and ultramarine blue, and I'm going to run a couple small ones up through here. They appeared in the first wash, and I kind of liked it that way. And I'm going to bring them together a little bit more as they come down towards the bottom so they're not running exactly parallel and ending them at different places. Now, there's another one that I do want to put in that's not in the photograph. And I'm going to take some burnt sienna. And I'm watching the spacing between these so that I don't get it too even. So I'm going to put that one right here. And I'm going to have it end back further than this one. And I'm not going to have it pronounced too much. Kind of dry brush the top so that there's a variety of shape, size, and spacing between all of these. Now I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to take the burnt sienna pretty straight with a little bit of water. Because you want to develop the trees. You don't want to do a one wash thing because you're committing yourself too quickly. And I'm going to have it end right there. So it looks like it's hidden in the back a little bit more. I'm going to put a smaller tree right next to it. Now I'm going to come over to this fairly dark tree right here. And I'm going to take the burnt sienna, the green, and the ultramarine blue. A little bit more burnt sienna because I do want these on the warmer side. And I'm not going to show a whole lot of the tree as it is in the photograph. I'm going to allow those branches of the pines to kind of fall over it. I'm going to take a little bit of burnt sienna here, put that in with it. I'm going to take the cotton swab here, kind of soften it so there's not an abrupt change at this point. Then I'm going to take the ultramarine straight and paint it up in here and allow it to mingle with the previous colors. It won't look like it's blue, but it will look darker and cooler. And I'm going to make this one a little bit darker here. I'm going to adjust some of the trees as I go, but I'm doing it because of value changes and color. Then I'm going to adjust the bottom of the tree here as it comes down. Using a little bit more ultramarine blue. Add a little bit of burnt sienna to it. So there's quite a bit of color in just this one tree. And I'm going to put more color in as the trees come forward anyways. And I'm going to put in some of the branches coming out and overlapping some of this. And a little bit of character in. And then on to the next tree back here, which I'm going to go back to warming that up a little bit more with the burnt sienna and the ultramarine, a touch of the sap green. And adding a lot more water to it as I go up. A little bit of ultramarine blue down at the bottom on this one side here. And then taking the cotton, kind of softening it a little bit. And then I'm going to put the blue in. Back in here on this tree. And I'm just dry brushing it in. So it's not going to be sticking out. It's kind of, I'll have to see, I'll have to adjust it later on, but I'll worry about that later. And a couple smaller trees in here. And I need one more coming right through here, coming down a little bit further. And I need another one here. And I'm going to darken this in just a little bit more. And bring it down closer. And one other adjustment, taking some more burnt sienna by itself and warming this tree up just a little bit more. And then add a few little nodules of dark here and there. With the ultramarine blue and the sap green a little bit, to give this tree just a tad more character to it. I want this tree a little bit darker. And this one just a tad darker. And I think that's where I'm going to stop. So I use different combinations of the burnt sienna, the sap green, the ultramarine blue, these being warmer back in here, these three. This is a little bit warmer. This is the darkest tree. This is darker but yet warm. And this is dark in between the temperatures. It's kind of not warm, not cool. But I'm being very conscious of the spacing of the trees. I'm being conscious of where they end. They're ending in different spots so that they look like they're placed at different distances in the woods. So I'm going to lift this up on the board here so you can see it closer. And remember, it's all up to interpretation.
Good thing.
What's that?
I said, that's a good thing.
Yeah. Just remember spacing, thicknesses, and size of the trees. Vary it so that we don't have all the same size trees. They don't look like they're planted by Martha Stewart evenly. We want to make sure that they are spaced differently. Now, looking at it right here in the monitor, I'm seeing something that I need to adjust right off the bat. I put a tree in here and it kind of disappeared. Because these two were placed right in the middle of these two here. So what I've got to do is kind of offset that with a couple of small trees here and there. And that helps right there. I'll emphasize it as after it dries, see how they dry out. But you can see now the woods make sense to that abstract pattern in the background. I think I'm going to go change my water, so I'm going to lower this for just a moment. So right now you can really see the changes in the colors as they go across after I put the trees in. Goes from very cool to more green, little bit darker, and then to kind of a yellowish color, and back to yellow green, and then a little bit darker green. So we're seeing that change helps move the eye also. And as long as I'm standing here, I'll take a picture of it. Pay attention to every tree that you put in, that you're making sure that they're different thicknesses, spacing is different, they start and end at different places, and they're different colors. Ever so slightly. Not every tree is going to be pronounced the same. Some will be pine, and the other ones will be pine. I saw that, Janet. You can block them in very lightly at the beginning, always go over them when you need to have some more pronounced than the others. All right, that's good. That's getting there. The two trees that are here in the middle, Janet, you have actually three trees. You have the big one, and then you have two other ones. They're separated equally. You see that? One, two, three. Okay. You don't notice it when you're doing it. I do it, and everybody else does it. You got to reassess how you're going to divide it up now. Some smaller trees, a medium-sized tree, smaller trees, bigger trees, whatever. And different colors, different values, different temperatures. That's good, Diane.
Thanks.
Okay, good.
Yes, I relocated trees.
Yeah, you could do that. Call Judy's husband. Did anybody see that big full moon out there last night? It's the brightest
Oh, no.
of 2026 or 2025, I mean. It lit up the woods here like it was just like the sun setting. It was so bright.
Wow. Do you know the name of it? Every full moon has a name.
I think they called it the beaver moon.
Okay.
And I heard it was the frost moon, but people make up,
Oh, this is
any
what
name.
I saw on the internet last night, so
Oh, well, you're probably right.
who knows? Now, the next phase is, remember, is less is more. So I'm not going to overhandle the snow. I want it to remain somewhat on the calmer side that will complement what's up above it and then back with the trees. And I will be adding probably a few saplings in the foreground, but nothing major. The main thing is to get that feeling of that light path that's coming, weaving down through the middle somewhat. We want to keep this painting a very clean, simple painting, not too much detail. It'll read better.
Get the write-up sheets. And I haven't done it because she didn't want.
I'll get that done this afternoon. But I'll call Heather.
You can just shoot her an email too and just ask her for the list.
Well, I'd rather call her. Because the way emails are going out to her, who knows? Or coming in. Because they're going to draw them up in class, so there'll be no drawing.
And it's still, there's
Yeah, I know.
opening letter, there's
Right, yeah.
at the end, the color paints are gonna use.
Okay, I'm looking. You could make this tree here, Janet, bigger and bring it down further so that this one falls behind it. This tree right here. Bring it down further than this one is and make it a little bit bigger. Yep, that's the one. Make it bigger. Minor thing.
Daly, who's mine so far?
Okay, good.
Check. You see anything specific?
Yeah, I would like to see this tree bigger.
Oh, okay, I can do that. I like that tree. Thanks.
We'll name it Fred. What's your husband's name?
It's Dennis.
Okay, we'll
Could
name
have told him Fred.
We'll name it Dennis. Make it bigger.
I'll tell him.
Okay.
Oh my God.
You don't have to mute yourself, Janet. I like hearing your comments. Like, oh my God. Yes, the instructor's a little crazy. Copy. No. Let's see what you got, Janet. Okay, that's much better. How are you coming, Diana? Okay, good. Very nice. And Judy, I checked yours, correct?
Yep.
Diana, that was gorgeous.
Oh, thank you. I'm trying. I'm learning.
That's good.
Yeah, you totally got that variation. And you, Missy, you've got like shadows already.
I know.
You're so
So that's my,
beautiful.
so the big tree is bigger.
Yeah, much better. Okay.
Okay, got it.
All
Thanks.
right, here we go.
Ready or not?
Ready or not, I'm going to take one more picture of this now that it's dry. Okay. And again, start in the background, and I'm going to come into the snow. I'm going to be careful on how much I'm adding, because as I said before, if I make this as busy as this is back here, I'm going to have problems with confusion with the eye. So I'm going to take the ultramarine blue with just a touch of the sap green, maybe just a tad more. There we go. And the green will actually gray it down a little bit, a slight bit. So I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to tone down the woods back in here very lightly. So that you kind of slowly go up into the woods with the snow. We don't want too much of an abrupt change. I'm adding a few accents of almost pure ultramarine here and there. But I'm going to be very careful not to add it everywhere. This I'm going to add soften back here. So I'm going to be jumping around quite a bit. And this is the part of the painting, and you kind of have to work up to this with experience, allowing the painting to tell you what it needs and not the photograph so much. So I'm developing that path that's back here. And being very decisive on where I want things, how I want them to look. Put something down, and then if it's too much, you can always go back in and kind of soften it up a little bit. We take a little bit of green here with the blue. And I'll keep on tapping the brush off a little bit with the paper towel. And adding accents of blue here and there, and let it kind of dissolve into the damp paint. So it's between the green and the blue I'm working at this particular point. This is a lot of green in on the paint up in here. And then I'm just going to pull it up into the trees in the background so that it becomes a softer value, softer edge. And move that paint around just a little bit. You don't have to move it around a whole lot sometimes. So I'm doing just different combinations of the blue and the green together, the blue by itself. Pull it up into the tree a little bit. Then I'm going to use a little bit more blue back in here with a touch of the green. You can always go back in and adjust lighter values much easier. Then I'm going to take the toothbrush with just the blue on it, and I'm going to spritz it into here to give it a little bit more color variation. A little bit of blue on the tree here. Like so. Now, I want to put in a couple small bluish trees in the background to kind of complement this one. Nothing that will pop out. This is going to dry a lot lighter. Just a couple of them. Maybe right back in here, I'll add to this. Put another one coming up through there and one back here. Now I'm going to take the toothbrush again, and I'm going to add a couple of greenish tints to this, just with the toothbrush. And go back to the number 6 brush, and I'm going to take the ultramarine blue with the burnt sienna and a little bit of the green, and I want to put in some of these darker spots that are in here. And I'm being very careful how I'm putting them in. I might have to go back in and touch up a few of them. And reshape them. That starts to bring it forward just a little bit more. But I'm not putting them exactly where they are in the picture every time. Now, I'm going to take the raw sienna with the white paint that we're using. A lot of white paint, a lot of water. There we go. That's about where I want it. And I'm going to kind of lace in these warmer colors coming down the path just a little bit. And once you put it down, you can always dab up a little bit of it so it tints the paper ever so slightly. Put it down, leave it a little bit, and you can pull it up. And you may not be able to see this on camera, but it's showing up here. Now I'm going to take a little bit more white, and I'm going to add it to the blue and a little bit of green, a little bit more white. And I'm going to add accents of some of the light coming through the tree. Just a little bit. Snow kind of going up the tree a little bit. And take the rigger here, and I'm just going to lay it down in the white paint, and I'm going to simply lay it down on top of some of the branches here. Not too much, just a little bit. I don't want any light coming up here because it'd be way too much. I'm keeping it more located down here. And I'll keep it off to the left-hand side a little bit more for contrast. Just a couple minor little things here. All this is very small things that are happening at this point. Never anything major at this point of the painting. And go back to the rigger, put in a few small saplings with ultramarine blue and the burnt sienna, a little bit of the green. And I'm going to put in a few small saplings in here. Darken some of these up just a little bit. Then take some of the blue, a little bit of that in there, water it down a lot, and put in a few cast shadows for these things. Subtle cast shadows, nothing major. And go back to the watered down burnt sienna with white in it. And I'm going to tint a few of these spots down in here. Then take the white with the green and the blue in it. And I want to hit a few small spots in here. just to help break up that line a little bit that comes shooting down here, that cast shadow line. Just to give it a little bit more interest. I'm not worried about going off on the sides here because everything is concentrated in here. And I'm doing a lot of what I call broken brush strokes in here. So I'm not making big brush strokes. They're kind of a broken line coming down, moving over. I'm going to warm this up ever so slightly. And this in here. And I'm going to warm this tree up a little bit more. Especially down towards the bottom of it. And I'm looking at it for just small things that need to be adjusted. And what else? I think a couple lighter value tree trunks back in here. And I'm going to lift that. So I rinse out the brush and then I squeeze out all the water. And these can be added in at your own discretion, but I'm not going to take too much of this. I'm going to take the tape off, see where we're at. So let's see what it looks like without the tape. Again, it's a very simple painting, but taking the tape off will tell us a little bit more of the story. But you can see on how I've simplified things to some degrees and added a few more things. The only part of the paper that was remained white are a few speckles up in there, and right in here, I left white of the paper. I didn't overpaint these dark spots in there because the sharper the edges on those, the more look they'll get to them, and you don't want too much attention to them. They're kind of just there. I'm going to take a little bit of the white with the burnt sienna in it and a touch of the green. And I'm going to add a few little light strokes right down in here. And a little bit through here, just to kind of break that up a little bit more. I think I'm going to leave it right there. Because if I goof with it anymore, it's going to get too busy. Because this is where you could play for hours on end of messing with little things that won't do too much more to it. So I'm going to stop right there and keep it simple. So I'm going to put this up on the water container so you can see it closer on how much I added or did not add to it. All right, just a minute, Janet. I'll be right there. I spilled something over here at this end.
I think you're going to tell me I need saplings.
Oh, that turned out nice. That's good. You have a little bit more of a hill, but that doesn't matter really at all. You could bring out some of this green that you have up in here because you have two lines of that warm color coming down, and you can interrupt that with some of the green, just dry brush through it a little bit here and there. You see those two lines of warm?
Yep.
See if you can break that up a little bit with some different types of greens.
Right. Right. Yep.
Okay, and Dale, I stopped adding to mine when you switched off to the white and so on. So none of that is on there yet. I'm gonna have to get that from the video.
All right.
But this is where I was up to that point.
Just be careful. You have your path needs to be modeled to turn the corner. It gets a little bit too wide in one spot.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I haven't really blocked it.
Okay.
Much at
Well, you
all
need
yet.
to
So which way?
tease it in a little bit.
Move this over so that it has
Yeah, just a little bit.
color in
So
there.
I have mine coming around. This comes out, then
Yeah.
this comes back, and then this comes out.
Okay.
There's a little bit of value there.
Yeah, I'll do that right now because I got those colors on my,
All right.
yeah.
That's good.
Let's see what she got. Next.
Diane, that is very nice.
Oh, thank you.
This is your fourth paint or your
Nice.
fifth painting, and you're doing really well. I'm very happy with how you're controlling the watercolor, which is one of the hardest parts.
Yes, I find that very hard. But I think this is another one I would like to redo because, my snow and trees are a lot different.
Yeah, but still, you got everything in the right place. It's just your snow could be a little bit bluer. You
Yes.
can run your blue up into here just a little bit more, but your edges are good. They're soft enough because there's two ways you can soften an edge. You can blend it, or you can take and paint a value next to it that's a close value, and that will soften it.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Which is what I was doing back up in here to a certain extent to soften it.
Yep.
But you're doing well.
Oh, thank you.
And we start again next week. If you're
Excellent.
interested. And we're doing a predominantly green painting, and then the next week will be clouds.
Okay.
Because I had things drawn up in advance. So
Okay.
then after, what is it, after next week, or I forget.
And it's Thanksgiving. Yeah, I'm going to miss the second class. The clouds. Okay, well then I'm not sending you my clouds.
Wait a minute.
Saving it.
Today is the 6th, and then
Yeah.
we go to the 13th.
I'll be there for that.
Okay. And then the 19th, which is a Wednesday,
Yeah.
is the Facebook Live. There's a free demonstration. And then on the 20th, we have another class. So we have 3 classes before Thanksgiving.
Right, I'm gonna miss.
You're going to miss
I'm
what?
gonna miss. I'm gonna miss the second week. Yes.
The 13th or the 20th?
No, I'll be there next week. I'll tell you. I'll remind you. And
All
then
right.
I'm missing another one. Yeah. Anyway, all right. I got green going on.
We have 3 in November and 2 in December. All right. That turned out nice. Very nice.
Good.
Just put,
And
just put
Go ahead.
2 or 3 gnomes in there peeking out from behind the trees.
No. No, I want the deer.
Put some horns on the gnomes.
Thank you. See you guys next week.
All right. Have a good
Thanks,
weekend.
Janet. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, now I got more of a path.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
Yeah, just hone in on it very slowly so that it kind of just sort of meanders and not
Okay.
is a direct path.
Yeah. Okay. Well, when I get the video and do all the snow stuff, I'll work that out a little bit more.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
That's
Very
good
good.
though. You got a really great start.
Good. Thank you. Yeah, I truly appreciate the whole approach you take to thinking about the colors, the abstract, the patterns, the build up from the it's nice.
Good.
It's very coherent, and I'm learning a lot. So,
Good.
yay. Yeah. Yay, Dale.
Just remember, I always work from 95% of the time from abstract patterns of color and value, and then I work it up to realism.
Yeah.
So
Right.
my first pass, nothing was there except patterns of greens and
Right.
yellow greens.
Yeah, but that's very useful conceptually,
Yeah.
It trains you to see how you're going to build the painting.
Yes, and that's what I'm doing is building the painting.
Really
If
think about it.
you two
from-
ladies could write a testimonial and
We will.
send it to us. We're always
Oh,
looking,
okay.
we're always looking to let people know how his students feel about them.
Okay,
Oh,
great.
sure.
I'd be glad to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanksgiving's coming up. I'm very thankful. So,
Yes.
it'll be easy breezy.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, very good. Okay, well, I'm gonna shut out because
All right.
wait for the video to finish up as usual. Okay, so thank you, and I'll see y'all next week.
Okay, have a good weekend.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. You too.
You bet.
I'm not done with it.
I guess I will I added a few little saplings.
All right. I'm very impressed with what you have done there. And
Oh, thank you.
it's different than the photograph.
Oh, yeah.
I always judge it within its own frame of reference. Is it working? Yes, it is. Is it working well? Yes, it is. So I never judge it by the photograph. I never judge it by another student or even what I've done. I always try to look at it as what you are doing, how you're doing it, and especially for a beginner, I wouldn't want to sit next to you as when I was a beginner because mine were terrible.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a little frustrating because it doesn't always come out the way, you know that. You
Oh,
see
yes, I do.
something and you have it in your head and you go to paint it and
Yeah.
it's not quite the same.
Yeah, it does happen. I agree. And it's always on the look of it when you are not happy with it. You're not happy with it on a different level because you're looking at it from what you've done and it's not working well. And then you end up tossing it out. And that's where I had students in my studio digging in the garbage can, say, oh, this looks good. And I'll take it. Let me see. And I'll rip it in half. And then they'll go, oh, this part looks good. And I'll just take it away from them. I says, this is not leaving the studio.
Oh,
but we all have our failures, no matter where you're at.
What?
Yeah.
It's the failures that make all the successes worthwhile.
Oh, sure, definitely. Well, I thank you very much, and I will send a encouraging testimonial.
Okay,
Oh, thank
and
you.
don't forget to sign up for the next 5 weeks.
I already did.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
Good.
And I'm going to listen to the Zoom and redo it.
Okay, that is always helpful. Even
Yep.
if you do it half size, that's fine.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be as big as what we did today, but it can be half size.
Okay. Very good.
All right, you have a good weekend.
Well, thanks. You too, and see you next week.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.